Perfect. So thank you so much, Philip, for the invitation and for inviting me to speak at your meetup. I'm very happy to be here. Today, I want to talk to you about from code to change, and also how I moved from corporate America to the social impact space. Um, I'm Marion. If you want to know anything about me, it's I love all types of exercises. I'm currently training for a trail running race to Stanzerhorn, my home mountain. That is in July. I like doing ballet, and if I have some free time left, I like riding dirt bikes. So the agenda for today, first I would like to tell you how I got into tech because I have a non-technical background. Then how I moved, I'm actually now moving from corporate America to the social impact space, and why I think tech is very powerful in social impact. And then I want to talk to you about, first of all, my non-profit organization Code Blossom that I founded last year, but then also about my new full-time job at Label Ladder. Okay, so first, I want to tell you how I got into tech. I have a bachelor in translation and worked at the FIFA communications department on the side. Then I did an MBA and worked at Zurich Airport, so very non-techy. And my boyfriend had always been a developer. And he always said, you know, like, it would be for you, and try some online tutorials. And I was always like, look, I'm not a nerd. Like, I like, I like languages and people, and I'm not good with math and stuff like this. And then I finished my MBA, and everybody went to work for banks and insurances. And I was like, okay, what should I do now? And then we were in the Philippines for 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, now you can show me, like, show me these tutorials now. So for 3 weeks, I woke up every morning at 6, and I was like, for 3 weeks, I will do 3 hours of coding every day. And if I still like it after 3 weeks, I will go for it. And apparently I liked it. So then I started an internship at Simplificator. I don't know if you know that company. It's an agency here in Zurich. They used to do mostly Ruby on Rails. So I learned programming with Ruby, which was quite a good experience. And on the side, I was working as a staff accountant because I was also financing my MAS in software engineering. So I had like these two jobs and an MAS, which was very overwhelming, but I was 25, so no problem back then. Now it would look very different. Then I was very lucky to land a job at a company called Hasura, which was an Indian startup. I will come to this later, as a developer experience engineer, which meant like I was responsible for writing the documentation, but also going to meet up and talk about the product. It was an open source product in the beginning, so it was very easy to make connections with the community. Then I moved to head of documentation, and now my last day will be next Monday. I've been working as head of developer education for the last 2 years, which includes the documentation team and also the community team and DevRel work. So, and one thing that I want to mention, the way I got this internship at Simplificator was at a time when it was still easy to go into entry-level jobs in tech. It's not the case anymore now. But I just called, I sent an email and asked, can you give me an internship? I don't know anything, but I would love to learn. And then they replied and they were like, no, we don't have any internship. Come back when you know something. And then I just directly called the CEO and I was like, look, I really want to learn, and I promise if you teach me, then I will hang out for a few years and work for your customers, so it will be worth it. And then he gave me the opportunity. So I was very lucky. This opportunity, and also the one getting into Hasura for me, was kind of the breaking points that made everything possible that I'm doing now. Now, the company I'm working at now, Hasura, they used to do GraphQL APIs. Now they're doing, like, in general, APIs, and they have a new product called PromptQL, which is basically AI on your data. And in the beginning, the whole product was open source. So as I said, I was a developer experience engineer. The company was in India. Everybody was in India. I was the first person not from India and working remotely. And so it was very easy to contribute to the company culture, which I really liked. And I started all hands calls and onboarding new people and doing goodbye calls for people leaving. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And I had frequent work trips to India, which allowed me to explore the country, which was also very nice. I was able to contribute to an open source product and did some community building, which was great at the time. Oh, no, it was correct. Then the company got a lot of funding and the headquarters moved to San Francisco. So they raised $100 million and everything became much more corporate and structured, and they focused, like they closed the open source product. It's still, part of it is still open source, but the focus has been on enterprise. And also lately they had a kind of back to office thing where people either should go to San Francisco or to India at the office. So for me, this was not an option. So now I'm leaving the company. But having said that, this company for me was the ticket for Hogwarts Express, because it allowed me to explore everything. Like, because we were so small, whenever I pitched something to my boss, I was like, I want a team. He was, okay, what team do you want? Documentation. Okay, I was able to build a team. Whenever I had an idea, I would just pitch it and he said, try it out. So I was able to move into a management position while trying things out with very low risk, because the company was still small. So everything that I will be doing going forward, if I have any success, will be thanks to all the opportunities that I had here. Then as soon as I learned programming, I think like 1 month after I learned, I started already teaching others, because I was told teaching is the best way to learn. And I co-founded Ruby Monsters, which is still going on. It's a free programming course for women on Monday evenings. Then I hosted 2 Rails Girls events, and I co-founded Women Tech Makers in Switzerland, organizing events like this one for the whole community in Zurich. Women Tech Makers is a Google program, in case you haven't heard about it, similar to Google developer groups. Yeah, so I was already feeling, when I was in the software teams, I was like, as like kind of I'm the only one, and it would be nice to have some other women as well. Then some women were there and they left, and then I was the only one again. So I was like, okay, maybe something fundamental needs to be changed here. Now, recently, I started about like the broader kind of picture where I was thinking, how can we use tech for social impact? Because there's still the case that tech jobs are very demanded. It's still predicted that the demand for tech jobs will outweigh what's available also in the future, despite AI. And so I would say it's a relatively stable future. Let's hope. Not everybody agrees, but that's another discussion. And at the same time, when I was traveling in some of the developing countries, I just saw how much potential was available. Like very intelligent people, educated people also, who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, they have laptops, they have stable internet. What they don't have is an opportunity. At the same time, everybody's complaining about lack of diversity, not only gender diversity in general. So I was thinking like putting it together would be kind of a good idea. So like I see it like this, like the potential is there, but somebody just needs to find it and do something with it. And also education is power. Like, I mean, a lot of people in this case, especially women, are dependent financially and emotionally, cannot leave whatever situation they are in, but with education this can change. So I co-founded Code Blossom not last year, like maybe 1.5 years ago. And Code Blossom is empowering women to break into tech. So exactly giving these opportunities that are not available, and at the same time maybe contributing to fixing the gender gap in tech. Code Blossom, what is it? It's a free full stack certification program for women. It takes around 9 to 12 months full time. So it's not just like a boot camp that you do like 2 times a week for an evening or so. It's a full course. Most of it is self-study, which allows women who have to stay at home to also participate. For example, we had a pilot program in Pakistan where women have to stay at home because they have to take care of the husband, the children, and the husband's parents. So they have to be there, but they actually have a lot of time. They just cannot leave the house. So giving these opportunities to these women working from home after the certification then also is kind of a way to fix it, because we're working with people who have master degrees in medicine, for example, but they would never find a job because they cannot go work at the hospital. Yeah, obviously it's remote and self-studied, self-paced, so if something comes up, you can also do your studies on the weekend. Everybody has a personal mentor who checks in with them every week. And also important, we have beyond coding sessions, which are social skills sessions, because these are sometimes people who were never in the workforce. And you also need to know other things than coding to be functional and successful in a software team. Another thing that we recently started is book clubs. So I love all books about self-improvement, and I'm a big nerd, so I'm reading them also with people at Code Blossom, and it's really mind-blowing. Recently we read Hidden Potential, and it's basically about how you're not born with talent, but you can learn stuff. And especially in this culture, this is not something that people grow up with, and then they're like, wow, so this means, like, because even though I was bad at math in primary school, I can still do something. So these sessions are very important to also allow everything that happens later. And it's free, so a lot of these people, first of all, cannot afford it, and the family is not willing to invest in their education, which is why it's free. Then, I mean, you've seen that we're remote and self-paced, and our curriculum is completely open source. So technically anybody can just come and learn how to code, but nobody's doing that because they need the support of the community. The community is our single biggest kind of asset that we have that differentiates us to other, how do you say, like courses. So we have, for example, a Slack channel called Daily Updates where everybody is saying what's blocking them, and then if something happened, maybe in these cases, lots of things happen that we cannot even imagine, like the typhoon happened and the house is gone, or the father died and stuff like this. So, and because they know how this feels, they can help each other out. Then we also have all hands calls where we always have a participant showcase where somebody tells her story. It's always very emotional. Everybody's very supportive. So this kind of makes them come back even if they have hard times at home. So the Code Blossom values are, first of all, empowerment through marketable skills. We have a very, wouldn't say simple, but like we teach the basic things that are needed. For example, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, React, Express.js, things, and Node.js, what they can use and is most likely to find jobs. And we keep working with industry professionals, making sure that we're up to date, because as you know, these things change very quickly. Then equality through education. As I mentioned before, with education, people can break free from situations where otherwise they can't, because education means jobs, means money, means independence. And my favorite one is communities through lifting each other up. We're trying to create a flywheel where every graduate will mentor more people so that we can kind of create, like, exponentially grow our community. Now I would like to, these are snippets from, it's just 2 minutes, but from these all hands calls that I mentioned where people are telling their stories. Yeah.
My brother informed me about Code Blossom, so I just want to learn more and more about the technology. So I grabbed this opportunity, and then my journey begins with the Code Blossom. And this, I believe, this turned out to be an exceptionally positive step for me, and I want to extend a huge thanks to all the mentors who have played a crucial role in my success throughout my Code Blossom journey.
Just sink into me that coding is not my cup of tea. I can't do this coding. But I didn't give up and kept working hard. Just when I felt like giving up, I received a heartfelt message from Marion. Thank you so much, Marion, for that message. She assured me that there is no pressure from Code Blossom, and she encouraged me to resume the course at my own pace once I feel better. This message from Marion was a turning point for me, and it gave me hope and strength to continue my learning, besides all that setbacks and my weak health and everything. I'm sorry. I remember that
my sister told me that whenever like hard things happen, better things are coming. So when my babies were like 4 months old, 4 months old, um, I read a story. I was able to see a post in Instagram from Steph, um, talking about Gold Blossom and talking about how Gold Blossom wanted to help women in underdeveloped countries. I think that right now I hug that postpartum version of me, and I know that if she knew everything that was going to come with this year and Gold Blossom, she will be super happy.
I become a part of a wonderful Hot Blossom family because it's really, it's a family. And I want to thank you all, and because I found the confidence in myself again, and I took a step toward my dream.
Yes, so these were a few of, they all graduated by now and submitted their final project, which is very cool. Some of them already have jobs. I think one of them is still looking. Then the leadership team is me and Nadia, both in Switzerland. We co-founded Cold Blossom. Then Steph, who was mentioned in a video before, she's our lead of community. She's in El Salvador. Then we have Sana and Alice, our main mentors, and Simrat, she's working on an AI pilot at the moment. So what are our goals for 2025? Our main target countries are the Philippines and Namibia. We used the last year of 2024 to run a few pilots because we had no idea about the cultures and where it would make sense to set up, because none of us lives in these countries. And then based on these pilots, we decided that these two countries would have high chances of success. We're currently fundraising for the two projects with Swiss foundations, and also we're working with the governments of the Philippines and Namibia, also the Swiss embassies in the respective countries, to fund at least 60 participants from each country and to educate them, and also hiring mentors locally. Obviously, we want all of them to graduate at the end. Now, this is my side project, Code Blossom, and I just told you that I'm leaving my corporate America job, and my next job will also be in social impact now. The company is a verein in Switzerland called Impact Tank Namibia, which is kind of a venture building company in Namibia, building companies and enabling local people to become economically independent through innovation. Now they will set up a new company called Label Ladder that will teach data labeling and data annotation to young and unemployed people in Namibia. So in Namibia, they have quite a high education rate, but very high unemployment rate as well. So then we will hire them and have them work for Western companies, because like outsourcing data labeling is kind of a big thing. Nobody wants to do it in-house because it's way too expensive. So in the beginning, it will be a project funded by the Namibian government, and we will make it into the company. I will be the CTO of this company and responsible for the technical training program. Yeah, I just said what it's about: data preparation, data entry, data labeling for companies. It's still in the setup phase. All the different types of data annotation is what we're doing. I'm really excited that now I don't no longer have a job where like I earn my salary and then in my free time I do Code Blossom. I can use all of these connections. It's basically the same thing. It's educating people and making them successful, getting them hired and finding them jobs. So the plan for this year is setting up the company, which is already in progress. The government is funding the first 1,000 people to get educated. Then the company will be we will be on our own. We want to provide high quality data annotation to customers, especially in Switzerland, Germany, and the US. And then obviously want to scale the company and get as many people employed as possible. And the goal, since it's called Label Ladder, like the goal is almost that people at some point will leave, because I mean, at some point you're no longer happy if you're an ambitious person to label data, so they can move on to other jobs. Because in Namibia, it's a big problem that university graduates don't find jobs because everybody wants people who already have experience. And this is a good way to have the first experience and then move on. That's already it. If you want to reach out, 2 different email addresses. One is for Impact Tank, one for Code Blossom. I'm also available on LinkedIn, and if you want to chat or have any questions, you can catch me later. Thank you so much.
Questions, yes. I'm wondering for Code Blossom, how do these women find out about your program, or how do you approach? Yeah, do you do like marketing or?
It's a very good question. Yeah, not paid marketing. So in both of these countries, I have me and the other people from the leadership team have connections. We work with the embassies and with local non-profit organizations or also for-profit organizations. We're also starting to collaborate with partner companies like tech companies who can talk about this on their social media. So it's kind of networking marketing, but not anything paid because we don't have money. Yeah.
Thanks.
Another question, maybe?
Not especially a question, but it was very moving seeing this, and I think it's an amazing project, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. Which one do you mean? I'm kidding.
And it's your side project, so
Yes.
that's blowing my mind. Like,
It's quite, and now I'm still at my old job until Monday, but I already started with the new one and Code Blossom. It's a bit much at the moment, but let's hope I can focus more starting 1st of April.
The time to put a meeting in between.
Yeah. No, but I think if you're very passionate, then things go also much easier. It's not so draining if you want to do it.